Hello, everyone. This is Heather Cook, live from M365 Community Conference at the Community News Desk. Very excited to be here. And I'm here with two of our board members from the MGCI. And you're like, what's that? Well, that is the Microsoft Global Community Initiative. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course I do.
Awesome.
I'm Mark Rackley. I'm the director of the Microsoft practice at Protiviti, and I'm one of the founding members of the MGCI initiative. Like you said, I've known each other for years, speaking around the world. I organize my own conference in a place called Branson, Missouri.
Yay!
And most people still don't know where that is. Yeah. But because of this whole community thing, I was able to bring in speakers and friends from all over the world to come to a part of the world that people don't experience. So I've been organizing that now for 13, 14, 15, 16 years.
16 years, right?
Gosh,
yeah.
I'm old.
Oh, wow.
And so I like to kind of bring my experiences with having to do all of that and do what I can to help out with the board. So I'm really happy that you have me as a part of this, and it's always great to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. And Jennifer.
Hi, it's so good to be here with you, Heather. I'm Jennifer Mason. I work as the Vice President of Workforce Transformation and Learning at Planet Technologies, and I am also a founding member of the MGCI. I guess I've been in community forever. We're going on 20 years now.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yep.
I'm typically not the person that you're going to see on the face of an event, or, I'll be speaking, but I'm not usually the organizer. I'm usually the activator behind the scenes. I've helped both of you in those roles.
Yep.
So pulling things together. So super excited about the MGCI so we can bring the next generation of community to come in and keep the events going.
Yeah, and absolutely a shout out to our audience over here, Jesse, Rob, Tim. Awesome. Thank you coming in. So we were doing a bit of a meetup and also an interview about MGCI. And so the Global Community Initiative is really, it came out of, it was actually kind of a pandemic thing because SharePoint Saturdays, which we all know and love, had been going on for years and years. And with the pandemic, we went obviously away from physical to digital events. And so it was thinking about how do we make sure that there's a place like spsevents.org, which Susan and Eric ran for such a long time, right? That had gone away. And so there was this idea of, wait a minute, we should, get something together to make sure that event producers, budding event producers, could get training and templates, and then people like these two OGs of producing and activating could help and train people, right? So that's where this initiative came from. And we built this awesome website. Tom Daly, who's another MVP out of New York, New Jersey, communitydays.org was born, and now that's that one-stop shop for Microsoft's ecosystem of community events, both free and paid. So you can go there anytime and check out what's going on. If there's a call for a speaker, call for sponsors, all kinds of great stuff. So what Mark and Jennifer and a bunch of other folks do, we've got 10 board members. We've got 65 regional leads, and we get together a couple times a month for training. Jennifer, tell them about the subcommittee you're on.
So I run the subcommittee for communications. Yep. So we try to get all the information out, where you guys can find information, and what training that we're doing. So for instance, some of the training we've done is as simple as how can I use Loop to help me run an event?
Yep.
How can I use these tools to do different things like that? So I work with Isadora to get the information about the events out, and then to help communicate anything that the team needs. So we meet twice a week. If anyone would like to help, we'll always take volunteers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so there's a newsletter that goes out. We also recently lit up a community hub on the Microsoft Tech community, so techcommunity.microsoft.com. You can find anything out there. Support.microsoft.com, adoption.microsoft.com, whatever product name, there's a pattern here, folks, for that kind of stuff, right? So, and Mark, talk about what you've been doing with MGCI.
Yeah, so I'm part of the sponsor subcommittee.
Yes.
So what we're really trying to do is to help give people the information they need to find sponsors, because that's absolutely critical to running these events, especially the free events.
Yes.
They are totally funded by sponsors.
Absolutely.
And over the years, post-pandemic, that whole landscape has really changed.
Yeah.
And it can be really kind of a challenge to find sponsors these days. So we give some tips on how to find sponsors, what kind of packages and things can you offer to sponsors to help entice them to show up.
Right.
And tips and tricks around that area. So it's hopefully we'll just make it easier for people to connect to sponsors, find the sponsors, and get their events funded.
Yeah. What's your favorite topics to speak about, both of you? I know you're speakers at this event, so what are you speaking about here?
I'm doing how to run a champions program. So we are going to spend the day. Actually, it's one of a champions program that started during COVID, and it has continued on. So we've been running it for 3 or 4 years, and it's self-sustaining. So having the community step up and grow the community to grow that next level. Yeah. So we've got a full day workshop. Tamer and I are doing that. So super excited about that.
That's awesome. And talk about what exactly is a champions program?
So it's internally, we're using it as a way for people to get to know the technology and apply it to everyday applications. Right. And so we'll do things like train the trainer, where we go in and teach people. They may know how to do a process and use the tools, but they may not know how to explain that to someone else. Right. And so you've got to have people that are using the tools, leading by example. And so the Champions program is a way for like-minded people to come together. We do like internal user groups, internal trainings, different things like that, so that people can learn from each other and then grow their technology use and help save time. Because if it's saving time in one department, it's probably going to save time in another department.
Yeah, fair enough. How about you, Mark?
So I did a workshop on Monday with a couple of coworkers, Antonio Mao and Drew Madeline. We did a whole day workshop on preparing for Copilot. Have you heard of Copilot?
What?
Yeah, there's this thing called Copilot.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be big. It's going to be huge.
I think so.
But kind of going back to the community thing, though. Yeah. Like, I met Antonio and Drew through the community forever ago.
Oh, yeah.
And now I work with them.
That's amazing. That's right. Yeah.
So the community is not only how you can get involved in this all stuff. You can it can be part of your career. Yeah. And then on Friday though, I'm doing a workshop with Sue Hanley.
Sue Hanley,
wonderful friend from the community. And we're doing on corporate communications. So
awesome.
Connections, Viva. Viva Engage.
I've been using Amplify like bananas. I love it. Having to not put things in 4 different places, 4 different times, just once and going woo. Yeah.
Do you make that sound every time? I bet you do.
That should be the Amplify sound, product managers. There you go. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'll ask.
I'll slip it in our workshop too.
Can we cut that and give that to them? That would be cool. All right. Right on. Yeah, that would be nice. Yes. So for both of you, with MGCI and then also just community in general, I mean, you've both been in this community, the best community in tech, for a long, long time, Talk a little bit more about, how the community has affected your life, like you were saying, it affects your career and, all that goodness. Yeah.
Gosh, do you mean to gush? What do you mean to say? This is I live in rural Arkansas. Yeah. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah. And we just got electricity last year.
Oh, my gosh.
So it was fantastic. No, but because of this community, it's I have friends all over the world. Yes. I tell people that where I live, that's not where my family is. Right. And these people are really close. Like Rob over there, he's one of my best friends in the world too. But you look forward to coming to these events, seeing the people. You can go to another country and go to a conference 3 days before the conference and spend time with your friends there, explore the countries. And it's allowed me to travel. It's allowed me to open my horizons to people. Look, rural Arkansas, right? I mean, think about that background. Mm-hmm. But it's really expanded my horizons on just culture, and it's helped my career. I'm now working, for a fantastic company doing things I love, and it has been core to my career and my family right now. So it's nuts.
I hear you. I was dropped in Michigan years ago, I'm from the middle of the United States, and the opportunities to travel around the world, to meet people from all over the place, to have friends, it's mind-blowing that's what we get to do. It's so cool. How about you, Jennifer?
It's meant so much to me because before this, believe it or not, I was a wallflower, pretty quiet. No. I would attend the conferences for work, but I wasn't very engaged. And I always thought that, I don't do the development stuff. Mm-hmm. At that point, I don't do the infrastructure. I'm not installing. So what value am I bringing? I'm not doing super technical stuff. Yeah. And I'll never forget, it was at a tech ed, and Andrew Connell and I were talking, and Andrew Connell's been doing this even longer than us. He was like, Jen, you've got something to say because no one's saying what you're saying. Just tell your story. And so he encouraged me to start blogging and get into the community. So it's community begets community. And so then I've got people that I've said, hey, you have a voice here. And so it just grows. And then you get this great circle of friends where you get to come together. It's so much beyond just being at a conference, but you really do get to be engaged in people's lives. And then you have people you can call when you need to learn something new or do something new. And so it's just been great. So community really made me blossom. I wrote books after doing it. I speak at conferences. I travel, and then I became part of the community because the community drew me in.
That's
so
amazing.
It's super special.
How'd you meet your husband?
I met my husband at Tech Ed. We might be the first married SharePoint MVPs.
Yeah, that's right. That's
silly.
so cool. Yeah, that's so cool. No, and I think the other thing is like the train the trainer stuff that is part of the initiative and just part of community in general. It's really like they were both saying. It's that people are just willing to share their knowledge. People are willing to create templates and help each other scale. Like you don't have to feel alone. Like with the community days events that we do. I did the one in Los Angeles because that's where I live, and then we just did one in Phoenix because they hadn't had something there in a really long time, and it was sort of like sometimes you need to just put some water on a and to get some new growth, and so it was really cool to do that, and so that's also part of this MGCI is like where maybe has something not happened or has it because people get tired sometimes too, right? Like it's like people have like organized something for years and years and years, and they're like, you know what? I did this. It was awesome, but now I'm ready for the kind of the new generation coming up to help out with that sort of thing. And that's what this is all about, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And for what we've been doing, I don't know what's been the most sort of like fun thing that has come out of all of this stuff.
The most fun thing I get to do is an every other week call with you and Isadora because it starts my morning off wonderful and we laugh and get stuff done.
That's true. It's at 7 a.m. So I'm usually like kind of mostly together, but with coffee for sure. I'm like.
It is so much fun.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love being able to put together communications and find out what do people need to know about. So sometimes the simplest information is there. So I just like being able to share and connect things for people. So I think that's my most exciting thing I've done so far. But this year, you didn't ask this yet, but this year what I really want to do is find my replacement. So find who am I going to bring in that can come in
Succession.
and keep carrying on and make sure that we have something.
Yeah.
Because eventually when I decide I'm going to, retire or go to Hawaii and live the rest of my life, I'm going to need somebody to step in. So that's kind of what I'm
absolutely bringing more people into the initiative so we can get people trained up and stuff.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Now I feel convicted.
Yeah.
But and I was going to say my favorite thing so far was like the coloring and the snacks in the treehouse in Redmond. That was fun.
That was really cool. That was fun. I know. Yeah. I think the fun stuff too. I mean, it's sort of like the lounge, like being able to be like, hey, should we like have a t-shirt cannon and cornhole and do these like fun stickers and stuff like that? Like that's also the fun of community events too. Not that the corporate events aren't fun, because they totally are. But I think the community events, especially the smaller ones, there's a lot of like people get food trucks or, they do get a sponsor, or they'll like take you, like you go somewhere cool with each other for speaker dinners, that's a lot of fun. Yeah. And those are all sponsored. So those of you out there who have companies locally, you would like to sponsor a tech event, there are lots of them that need to be sponsored. Communitydays.org is a place for you to check that out. And that's something we're going to work more on with your subcommittee is helping folks connect with sponsors in their local regional areas so that they can put on these awesome free day-long events for sure.
And we're starting a monthly newsletter that's going to go out on the tech community site that's going to be for vendors to say, hey, these events are coming up and here's how you can help. Here's where we have a gap. So that's going to start probably next month.
Yeah. So we've got a few things. We're doing social amplification. We're working on venue requests if somebody wants to use a Microsoft Office, which really it changes all the time. So it's a little challenging, but like we're working through that and it's really exciting. So and I think we need to wrap up here talking about MGCI, our global community initiative. It's aka.ms/MGCI. That'll tell you all about it. You can sign up at the tech community to be on the community hub. And Mark, Jennifer, first of all, thank you for your friendship.
Absolutely.
I'm going to make myself cry, but thank you for your friendship. Thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate you both so much. It's so awesome to do this with you. And thank you to our audience over here who are MVPs and wonderful folks and some newbies. Did you learn some stuff? Right on. Okay. So there you go, everybody. So that's us from the Microsoft Community Conference here. And thank you so much, everybody.